This is the way to drink in heaven. Put the bullets in an empty glass, pour in the high alcohol vodka. John takes out his shiny revolver and loads it. Then he turns the revolver wheel and slowly points it at his jaw. He steadily pulls the trigger. This time he survived. John is a retired Special Forces soldier. Brutal combat scenes are often on his mind. So John suffers from severe PTSD. He lifts dumbbells 1,000 times a day. He does 2,000 sit-ups. Only by feeling the physical pain could he forget the mental scars. One day, he came into the supermarket and suddenly two robbers broke him. He grabbed their guns and put them directly into his mouth. He signaled to the robber that he could shoot. John saw the robber some hesitation and put the gun to his forehead. The robber was stunned. John took the opportunity to grab the gun and knocked him to the ground with the barrel of the gun. Another robber stabbed him with a knife. John backhanded the robber and grabbed the knife. Then John used his knee to kick him in the head and successfully subdued the robbers. After the fight was over, John turned around and grabbed a bottle of vodka and then took the money from the robbers and tossed it to the cashier, saying he didn't need change. John received a phone call one morning shortly afterwards. His beloved sister Cindy was badly injured and abandoned on a beach. John rushed to Brazil. The agent in charge of the case told him it was most likely the work of the gang. John follows Mary to the beach where his sister was found, looking for clues. A couple of burly men nearby seemed to know something. John follows one of them to his house. The man gave him Cindy's notebook. He turns out to be Cindy's best friend. But the strange thing is that a large part of the notebook has been torn out for no apparent reason. John returned to the hospital and opened the door to see a nurse adding some kind of medicine to the bottle. The nurse was smiling and greeting him. John didn't think much of it, but soon after the nurse left, Cindy began to shake violently in the hospital bed. He rushed to call the doctor. He found it just in time to bring Cindy back from the dead. The police later told him that there was no such nurse in the hospital. John couldn't understand what his sister was involved, and to get persecuted one after another. He went to a bar alone at night to get drunk. Lucky for him, he accidentally finds a number that Cindy has written on a notepad. John dialed the number and made contact with the person and agreed on a place to meet. Things seemed to have turned around. The sister of a retired Special Forces soldier was seriously injured when she ran afoul of the Brazilian gang. The brother, John, finally contacted Mike after investigation. Mike told him that Cindy was investigating a human trafficking case. Because Mike is a photographer, Cindy found a clue and hired him to take pictures. Mike gave the flash drive with the photos to John, and then the two went their separate ways. But shortly after Mike got into his car, Mike's car suddenly exploded. John looked at the scene in front of him with a shocked face. He was in a trance and saw a familiar face in the crowd. The woman was Tom Waugh, the fake nurse who tried to kill Cindy that day. John hurriedly went after her, but Tom Waugh had already gotten into a car and fled. At that moment, another car appeared behind him. Several assailants with submachine guns shot at John. The police officers who did not react was shot dead. John rolled over to the policeman and got the pistol on his waist and started to fight back. They fired several rounds. Masked robbers did not have the slightest advantage. Finally, he had to drive away in a hurry. John then used the photos on the flash drive to find a suspicious man and the name of a bar. John went to the bar to make sure the DJ guy on stage was his target. He looked around and saw a large number of hit men. So John waited until the man went to the bathroom. The bouncer outside the door warns him to stay away. He pretends to turn around slowly and kicks the bouncer down with a back swing. He goes into the bathroom and finds the DJ man and punches him in the face. John took out Cindy's photo and asked him if he knew her. The man still tried to play dumb. John saw that he was still not honest, so he grabbed the man's neck and pushed him into the toilet to teach him how to behave. The man finally confessed the truth after a beating. He told John the location of the gang's estate. Before he left, John took the man's suitcase. He opened the suitcase and found it full of evidence of the gang smuggling. He asked Agent Manny to separate from him. Manny leads the Washington T-team to storm the gang's base. John went to the estate to continue his search for clues. John enters the estate and finds the missing girl. On the other hand, police officers found the scene where the gangsters transported the missing girl. He quickly took the men into custody and contacted Agent Manny for backup. Manny arrives at the scene and raises his pistol at the gangster. However, he fired at the officers. It turned out that he had already been paid by the gangsters. John was also betrayed by him. The man behind John took out a wire and strangled John's neck. So John backhanded the suitcase a few times and knocked the man to the ground. The man with the tattooed back is a gangster in the Brazilian Faithless, confronted by his henchman who leaked evidence of his crime. The boss drew his 40-meter-long samurai sword and stabbed him in the back with a half-turn. His henchman lost his breath, and John is looking for clues at the hacienda when he encounters his henchman sent to kill him. They try to draw their guns, but John wouldn't give them the chance. John grabbed the pistol and sent the men in front of him running for cover. The mob may be large, but John's skill is not enough. He was always able to dodge attacks and use a combination of punches to disable his enemies. He ended the fight with a back kick. When the rest of the agents arrived, John led them to the room where the girls were being held. The girls had already been moved by the mob who received the information. This information was leaked by Manny. He told John to give him the suitcase containing the evidence of the gang's crimes. He let them handle the rest. When John left the manor, he felt that Manny's eyes were not right. He told Mary to go to the hospital and protect his sister. He turns back. The killer had found Cindy at the hospital. Fortunately, Mary arrives just in time to put an end to the killer with a shot. John hid in the trunk of Manny's car and went to the pier where the mob was selling girl. He hid in the distance and saw Manny collecting the commission from the gangsters. He finally realizes that Manny is a spy and calls the police and reports his location. But they couldn't get to the scene right away. He had to enter alone first. The mob boss heard the gunshots and sent more men to kill John. And John was like a shadow in the night. He gets behind the killer, puts him on the ground, and grabs a pistol to take out the oncoming enemy. He is always so nimble that the killer falls on his gun before he has time to react. The two killers move cautiously between the containers. John appears out of nowhere. He raises a gun and takes out more with ease. In the end, almost all the gangsters were killed by John. Only a few gang leaders were left alive. Both sides ran out of bullets. Manny decided to fight him, but he was no match for John's physique. He was knocked to the ground by John in a couple of blows. John's fists were pounding Manny's body. Finally, John ripped off Manny's necklace and stuck it into his chest, killing him completely. In the end, only Irimoto was left with the entire human trafficking team. Irimoto gestures at John with his katana. John picks up the discarded iron pipes on the ground and uses them as weapons. The battle begins. Both sides dodged each other's attacks, but the weapons also determine the winner of the fight. After they fought for a while, the advantage of the katana gradually emerged. Irimoto cut John first, but after John became familiar with his moves, John immediately launched a counterattack. Irimoto did not follow the rules of the fight. He pulls out his dagger and stabs John and then slashes him with his katana. He kept sarcastically talking about John's sister and tried to provoke John, but John didn't fall for it. When he gets in shape, he hits Irimoto with a series of blows that leave him with blood all over his face. Finally, he knocked him down with an iron pipe and the fight was over. Afterwards, the police arrived at the scene and arrested all the gang members. John walked out of the warehouse with the trafficked girl in his arms. His sister was also released from danger shortly afterwards. The two siblings smiled at each other. After this incident, John was invited to join the FBI as a special agent. His skills were finally put to good use.